Hello everyone, Matthew here. It's going to be a different video to usual. It's not going to be my pathetic attempt at trying to be funny. It's going to be more of a informative video because I now realise I've never actually really talked to anyone in any extreme depth about my spoon collection. For those of you who don't know, since about 2017, about that time, I've been collecting spoons literally wherever I go, so I might as well try and explain it to some degree. Now, I split my spoon collection into 3 sections, all just named Era 1, Era 2 and Era 3. Era 1 spoons are before I went to my high school, Era 2 is during my high school where I didn't really collect as many, and Era 3 is post-COVID sort of thing. So with that introduction out of the way, I guess we should get started. We start off with the first Era 1 spoon, which I'll just show you here. This is the Tower of London spoon, which I got all the way back in 2017. It's weird to think that was about 5 years ago. But the story behind this one is that I was on a school trip to London with, my school year, and whilst I was at the tower, I had a bunch of leftover money and saw a spoon. I was like talking to my friend saying, hey, wouldn't it be really funny if I bought that spoon? And then bought that spoon. And it's just sort of been here this entire time. It's the first one. It's just sort of nice silver plated spoon with a crown on top because, Tower of London. Yeah, it's basically the first spoon that I ever got. So that's the Tower of London spoon. The second spoon, to my memory at least, is this one from the Derbyshire town of Bakewell, most famous for their tarts. I remember I was doing what I like to call the Derbyshire run, where I go around a couple of Derbyshire towns like Buxton, Bakewell, and a couple others in the car with my dad. And I remember I passed a gift store for Bakewell. I know it's crazy to think such a small town would have a gift store, and I noticed they had a spoon in there, so I decided, you know what, I might as well get one. Get a little spoon collection going. Anyways, not really too interesting, it's just sort of a basic silver spoon with Bakewell and a bridge sort of stuck on it at the end with the word Bakewell. But second spoon, so interesting nonetheless. We are skipping about a year ahead into the future here with the third spoon. This is the first Paris spoon, which I got from a bordering town of Paris. My friend kindly bought it for me because I missed out on getting a plunger with the rest of my friends. It's silver plated, it's got this nice blue Eiffel Tower imprinted on the end and a little bean pressed into the metal. It's treated me well, and it's a good spoon. Very nice indeed. Now, spoon number 4 is perhaps one of, if not my favourite spoon of all, and I still love it to this day. It's honestly brilliant. It's the second Paris spoon. Now, this one has quite an interesting story behind it. So, on the second to last day of the trip to France with my school, we were supposed to be going up the Eiffel Tower, you see, and everyone was all excited, I was excited, it was all going to be a jolly good time. But as soon as I got to about here on the first leg, I looked down because we were taking the staircase, and I just broke down crying, and I just was inconsolable. The head teacher had to take me down, and I didn't get anywhere near as high as the rest of my class. And the reason I remember this is because when we got down, the head teacher very kindly, after hearing about, all my other spoons, bought me this spoon to try and make me calm down. Which is, nice of him, It's a very nice spoon, actually, I will admit. It's got nice floral patterns, it looks almost like a tree on the back, and it's got the Eiffel Tower on it, as you can see, in glorious 3 dimensions, and even more beans than the first Paris spoon. This is genuinely just like a really nice spoon, and yeah, if you were ever to go to the Eiffel Tower, I'd definitely recommend getting it if you're, into spoons, I suppose. we're now going to fast forward about another year into the future to summer of 2019, and this was right as I was finishing my last year at my middle school, and I went on holiday to a Greek island called Skiathos, and I spent the entire week, just the entire week there, looking for a spoon. And I got onto the last day, we were getting ready to pack and leave, and I was just really sad I hadn't found a spoon. And I was just like, I asked my mum if I could go check in one last gift store, and lo and behold, I find a spoon, not of just Greece, but also the island itself. It's a very nice spoon. It's a bit bland on the back, but the front is very ornate. Look at the little pillar, the little thing showing the actual island, and the actual picture painting thing of the skyline of the actual town in Skiathos with the Greek flag. It's quite a nice spoon. It's not very useful for spoon activities, and the paint is a bit worn, but that's because it's been around for a couple of years. But apart from that, very nice spoon indeed, and yeah, it's just very ornate. Last of the Era 1 spoons comes just a couple days actually after I got the Skiathos spoon, and that is the Bergator spoon. The week after I went to Skiathos, I went to Berlin with my dad, and the first thing I did to avoid what happened in Skiathos was go and find a spoon. And because our hotel was right near the Brandenburg Gate, managed to find one with the Brandenburg Gate on it. It's quite a nice spoon. It's a bit sharp actually at the end, but it's got a nice pattern on the back. It's also looks a bit like a tree, a bit like the second Paris spoon, even got a bean on it. And I used to carry this around a surprising amount because I just really liked it, but I don't really carry my spoons around anymore, so this has just been left in the tin with the rest. It's really quite a nice spoon, I will admit. It's quite heavy, it's got a lot of weight to it, and it's silver plated. But yeah, that's the Brandenburger spoon, and that is the last of the Era 1 spoons, because now we get onto the Era 2 spoons, which happened after I joined my high school, and I collected a lot less spoons because I thought it was cringe. Now, the thing about the Era 2 spoons is that half of them I didn't actually collect myself. The first one, chronologically, was the second London spoon. The story behind this one is my mum had to go on a business trip down to London for her work, and on her way back to the train station to get back up to where we live, she passed a gift shop and saw a spoon, and of course she knew all about my spoons, so decided to pick it up for me. It's quite nice. It's very heavy for its size, and it's got the House of the Parliament and Elizabeth Tower and the word London imprinted on it. It's quite a nice spoon. I haven't really used it that much, and it's gotten a bit manky in the tin, but what can you do? The second Era 2 spoon was actually, once again, not purchased by me, but instead by my father. When he went on holiday to Tenerife, he found a spoon in a shop which displayed the map of the island, and thought, might as well go Matthew it. It's surprisingly light compared to the other spoons in my collection, probably made out of aluminium. It's got a bean pattern on it here, a couple of swirls, and obviously the island imprinted on a thing that's stuck on it. And the ladle itself appears to have gotten a bit coppery somehow. I imagine it's probably just the coating on it's probably just worn off a bit, but apart from that, decent spoon, and yeah, second Era spoon. Now, I wouldn't really consider the next two spoons as singular spoons. I would really consider them a trio actually, but unfortunately I've lost the third one of them. These are the tiny salt spoons that I got whilst doing a Derbyshire run and picking them up in an antique shop in Buxton. The thing is about these are probably the oldest spoons that I have, because they were in like a thing from God knows when, and My dad kindly bought them for me because, you know, spoons, why not? My favourite probably has to be this salt spoon because it's so small, it's got nice patterns on it, and it's got this little flangey thing here, it's very nice. This one, not bad at all. It's a bit bland, but it's possibly the biggest. And the third one, which I can't find, has similar patterns to this one, but just sort of stops off at the end, doesn't have this spiky bit. And yeah, that's the last of the Era 2 spoons. They're quite heavy for their size and probably made out of iron or steel because there's a bit of rust on them, but yeah, very nice spoons indeed. Now, the Era 3 spoons come after the COVID-19 pandemic, and I finally started to be able to travel around a bit more. This one is from my Hamburg trip. You probably know about it because I've made a couple of videos on the trip itself. And this has gone on, I think, the second day of that trip. It's a very nice spoon. It's got a nice weight to it. It's very functional as a spoon. It's got the Hamburg castle and the word Hamburg on it. It's got a nice crest around it. A little bit of pattern here, and you know, it's just sort of a go-to spoon I use in the surprisingly common situation where I need a spoon on hand. So yeah, if you come up to me in the streets, most likely you're going to see me carrying this spoon around at some time or another. But yeah, it's a good spoon and it invokes lots of nice memories. Now, these last three Era 3 spoons are similar to the salt spoons, as in I consider them more of a trio than separate spoons. They're from my most recent trip, which I've actually just come back from today. They are of the Lake District of Cumbria and of the town of Windermere on the Lake Windermere. This spoon, it's possibly the largest ladle that I've got spoon-wise. It's got a nice pattern and very ornate on the actual ladle itself, with little Lake District thing on it and a building from the Lake District. The second spoon is the Cumbria spoon. It's magnetic, which is always good to have in a spoon. It's got this nice little decoration on the actual handle itself, and you know, decent sized ladle. It's relatively heavy, I mean heavier than the other Lake District spoon, but hey ho. And lastly, the Windermere spoon, which I have literally just finished sticking back together because when I actually bought it, I dropped it on the ground and the little pinard thing which said Windermere on it fell off with the coat of arms, and I was just sort of sad at the moment because I was like, oh god, I've just gotten this and I've managed to break it. Anyways, yeah, it's very similar to the Cumbria spoon, but still nonetheless very nice indeed. And well, there you have it. All of my spoons. I've collected a fair few over my time, and they're pretty integral to me as a person. I mean, not like my entire character, but a lot of people still refer to me as that guy who bought all the spoons with his money. But yeah, apart from that, that's everything I really have to say on the matter. This is just supposed to be a sort of informative little video to explain to everyone who doesn't know what my spoons are and where I got them. Yeah, that's it. Subscribe for more and see you later, I guess.